Yeah, good morning, everyone. So, in yesterday's session, we learned about how to work with React components. So, we discussed about React components and components, how we can design components. Generally, we call them as function components. We have two types of components. One is function, another one class. Class components are there. First, we are learning about how to deal with function components. After that, we are going to learn about working with class. And yesterday, we discussed about the JSX rules. So to create a component, to design a component, what are the basic rules of JSX we discussed? So you remembered the rules of JSX, and the basic rule of JSX is not directly JavaScript. So in JSX, the language of JavaScript is same, but little bit syntax approach will change. And JSX rules, you can return only one fragment as a result, and every function must return a fragment. It must return JSX. And JSX cannot have void elements. Every element must end. And JSX cannot use attributes. You must use only properties. Right? Now, yesterday we learned how to create a component and how to use the component. So today we will learn one example using the components. We will see one simple in our project. We created a simple web application, and in this web application we learned how to create a component. So the basic difference what we done is in this project is, instead of using CDN, we are installing all the offline libraries and we are using those libraries. Now today what we will do, we will try to create one real-time environment using these components, and we will see how they work. That means we will learn to build one environment same as a real world environment. So let's try this example then. So already how to set up the project we discussed. I hope you got these node modules also, right? You tried installing the libraries. So we learned two techniques. You can follow any. You can use the CDN links or you can download the libraries and work with them. So today, what we will do, we will create one simple interface and we will see how React can build it. We will try to create a simple Netflix-like screen. So we will try to create a Netflix-like screen like this. That means a simple Netflix screen. Netflix is completely designed using React. We will able to create the functionality later. First, we will learn design, how we can create such designs. Because all React applications are component based, we need to learn how to design components and use them, right? So in this screen, we will plan creating the Netflix home screen like this. Now to create this screen, lot of colors, effects, styling is there. Such things we can actually Netflix people are using a library called MUI. Netflix is using MUI. They call it as Material UI. This Material UI you will see later. How to use the Material UI you will see later. For that you need to learn some React concepts in depth. Then you can do it. This Material UI, by using that, they can design buttons like this. They can design the forms like this. We can create like this. But the same thing we can do with general library like Bootstrap. By using Bootstrap also we can do. But Netflix people are not using Bootstrap. They are using another library called MUI. And generally all libraries look similar, but their feel of colors and their feel of containers will be little different. For example, you see the um, MUI. This is the MUI official website. And this MUI is having some free service. Freely, several components are available. We will later learn how to use them. And you can see these are the customers of MUI. Spotify is using, Amazon is using, NASA, Netflix is using. These all people are using MUI. They are all using this Material UI. To learn this MUI and start working with this Material UI, you must have good knowledge in the concept of React first. So after learning several topics in React, we will come to this MUI. We will learn about that. But if you have learned general web development, in general web development, how you got this icon? In general web development, how you can get that icon? In HTML, CSS, when you design pages, how you get the icons? So we have bootstrap icons. We have bootstrap icons. We can use font awesome icons. There are font awesome icons, bootstrap icons, popularly used in website development. We regularly use bootstrap icons, font awesome icons. So today what we are going to do is we are going to use bootstrap and we will see how to build this interface. But to build this interface, you need to understand the interface, how they designed this. That means what it actually contains. Observe carefully. This Netflix page is in the background having one banner photo. And that photo is not dominating. That is just a light color photo is there. It is not much dominating. So what Netflix is having is Netflix have a component. This is one component. Actually, we will name this component as this is the Netflix index component. This is the Netflix index component. We have a Netflix index component. Now, what this index component is having is the Netflix index component is having a background design. They are having background colors, background banners. All this is done in index. Okay, on the index, that means the first one that you see is index. In that index, at the top, this is a header. So that means in the index, inside index, remember inside the index component, you have a header component. This is Netflix header component. So Netflix index, Netflix header component. We have the Netflix header component. Okay. And you see now, after the header, actually this is entire the Netflix section area. This is the Netflix section area. So section area, that is the entry point of website. You know how entry point, that means user can start from here. How the entry point is designed is generally after the header, they are having a component, and after the header, they have the component, and the component is this is Netflix main component. So you learned in HTML some semantics, right? You learned header semantic, footer semantic, section semantic. HTML provides several semantics. Now, similarly, now we have a Netflix index and Netflix header and main component. And inside main, this is again a component. Inside main, this is again a component. That is a register component. How I say that it is a component? Because the same screen repeats again. The same screen repeats somewhere bottom. So that means it is a component, separate component. So that means inside the main, again a component is there. And what is this component? It is a Netflix register component. Netflix register component. So a React application is built with components. Now today we will try to design this. And before you design, you should know the hierarchy, how it is arranged, the content. So how content is arranged, how it looks like. So here, our page starts with which component? Index, Netflix index. It starts with index. In the index component, at the top, we have a header and below header main. And inside main component, again, we have a register. Let's see how to create this hierarchy, how we can design this hierarchy. And not just creating the hierarchy, we want some styles, effects, everything to work, right? Then let's see how we can do that. So what you need to do now is set up Bootstrap and icons for a React project. You created a project. Actually, it is a ordinary web application in that we are using React. How to create a separate React application later you will see, and how to create a web application and how to set up like a web project, all the basic process I explained. How to install React libraries and how to set up the library. Now, in the project, to make the styles effective, now we need Bootstrap. So we have to set up Bootstrap. What you have to do is you need to install Bootstrap and icons. Bootstrap and icons in your project. So you need to set up npm install. npm is a package manager. We have Bootstrap and the bootstrap icons save. That is the flag. So bootstrap and the bootstrap icons are in your project. Now, after that, to use bootstrap and icons in any page, link the following files. You have to link the files. In the head section, you link relation is style sheet. Href, it is in node modules. Node modules. In node modules, you will find bootstrap icons in that font. Bootstrap icons .css. That is the file you have to link. That is file related to bootstrap icons. Another file link relation is style sheet and href node modules. In that bootstrap dist css and bootstrap.css. This is another file. In order to use the scripts, you need to link script source, node modules. In that bootstrap dist js, bootstrap bundle.js. Bootstrap bundle.js. This is another file. These are the files you need to link additionally in order to use the bootstrap in your page. Already 3 libraries you have to set up: React, React DOM and Babel. And if you want to use bootstrap, you need to set up these also. Yeah. So you need to first install bootstrap and set up these libraries. In next level, you will learn a complete React project environment. When you learn a complete project environment, you don't need to link files. Automatically, the files start working for your component. You have to just import the files and keep in one place. You can use from any page. Currently, we are not building a React application. We are using React in an existing application. That is the reason all we have to link manually. Otherwise, we can set a project in such a way that all files are imported at one place and you can access from any. That's next sessions. We will see that environment, how it works. So this is important for setting up Bootstrap. What I will do now, let's go to the project and install the 2 additional libraries. npm install. I is shortcut for install. You can just use I. And one is bootstrap and bootstrap icons. So this libraries we are installing here. So bootstrap and bootstrap icons are ready. Okay. Now let's go to the public folder. In the public folder, we will add another folder by name images. We will keep all the images in this folder, any image that you need for the project. So currently we need a Netflix banner. You see Netflix have a background banner. So you need that banner image. Let's Google for that. This is images. So Netflix banner. Okay, Netflix background banner is there. Yeah. I will save this in my project. Save the image. And in our project is in D, web application. In that public, in that images. Images, we have a Netflix banner. Okay. So that is saved. It's a JPG file. Fine. Now let's create one page. In public, I am adding a new page. Uh, Netflix. Netflix.html. Okay. In this, I want to use React. This is a HTML page, and I will just keep the header as Netflix watch movies, something like this. And in this page, the complete React should work. So you know the tradition. Already we learned. We will first put in no script element. Why you need this? To check whether JavaScript is enabled in the browser or not. So if not enabled, React cannot work. No web technology can work scripting in the front end if JavaScript is disabled. Angular, React, everybody needs JavaScript enabled. So if accidentally JavaScript is disabled in your browsers, then you have to notify the user that JavaScript is not enabled, please enable. So we will put here, please enable JavaScript on your browser. On your browser. Generally in browser settings, they can get that. And everything we will generate in a virtual DOM and we will finally add to the actual DOM. In actual DOM, where you want to add, you can decide. Actually, you can directly add into body also. Directly into the body section also you can add. You learn JavaScript. We can create any element dynamically and add that element into body. So you can directly add body, but I will just put a container and this container ID will be as what? Root. Now we need to set up the libraries required for React. So for that, first, what are the libraries required for React? We will keep them. First, we need a script. Script source is coming from node modules in that React and in the React UMD system, React DOM development.js. Another one, so another script, node modules, React DOM and UMD system, DOM development.js. One more you need. What is it? Babel. Script source, it is node modules. So Babel and standalone babel.js. These are the libraries required for a React application. The basic React application needs all this. Now, additionally, we want some extra CSS effects and icons like. Then I will link relation style sheet, href, node modules, bootstrap icons, font, bootstrap icon.css. Another link relation is style sheet and href, node modules, bootstrap, dist css, bootstrap.css. If you want bootstrap interactions, bootstrap have a script file also you have to add. Actually, how bootstrap interactions works, I will show you. So in bootstrap, you learned interactions, how to design them. But here I will show one more time here. See, we need script. Script source is equal to node modules in that bootstrap and in that JS, dist JS bootstrap bundle.js. All the files are required. So what in next level projects we can do is we can configure the project in such a way that without linking the files, these files will work for your page. In many interviews also, they ask this to freshers. Because generally freshers, how they learn web development is any CSS file, JavaScript file is required, they learn linking them. But in real world project, they will show you a HTML page where no CSS JavaScript is linked. No file is linked, but it is working. That means no file is linked, but JavaScript is working, CSS is working from external files. But external files are not linked. They will ask that question. See the page in there, there is no CSS linked. Then how my page is using this CSS? So that is because of configuration of project in such a way that it uses a mapping mechanism. Through that mapping mechanism, you can keep all files at one place, map to all pages. So that without linking the files, you can use their functions, you can use their classes. That environment you will see in next level, how it is possible, right? Initially, you have to link all these because still we haven't created a React project. We are using React in a page. In that case, you need to set up all this. Okay, next. Now, one more thing you have to do. Now we need to configure a script. And what is the script type should be? Text slash what? Babel. Or you can also use text slash JSX because the language we are using for React is JSX. Babel can recognize JSX. Babel compiler can directly recognize this JSX. So you can keep JSX or you can keep as what? Babel. You can use both options. Okay, fine. Now what we need to do is in this project, observe carefully. According to our Netflix design, the plan we prepared, layout. So how many components you need for designing that page? 4 components are needed. That means you need 4 functions. Because how you create a component in React? Every component is designed by using a function. And yesterday we learned the rules of a component function. What are the rules of component function? Component function cannot be void type. And there are naming rules also. Component function name must start with a capital letter. It must start with a capital letter. Every component name must start with a capital letter. In yesterday's rules, you can note that one extra point also. That means component name must start with uppercase letter. Actually, it was not an issue in early versions, but now they made it strongly typed with capital letter. Otherwise, it will not recognize as a component. It is mandatory that the component name must start with an uppercase letter. That's important. Other rules already I told you void. It cannot be void. It must return. but it cannot return anything. It must return only JSX fragment. It must return only JSX fragment. And JSX fragment have lot of rules. Now, what we will do is we will go to our project. According to the plan, we will create these components. So that means how many functions you need? Function. One is Netflix index. Okay. It should return a function. A function can return a function. Already we know that. And this function should return a simple markup. I will just keep a container div. Okay. This is Netflix index. Fine. Later we will design. First we will keep the hierarchy correctly. We will put the entire hierarchy. Okay. How many components are required? Index is ready now. Next what? Header main component. So another function, Netflix header. Okay, it should return a header. You know, HTML have a header semantic. It should return a header. Okay, fine. Next, another function. Another function is Netflix main. Netflix main, it should return a main. You know, main is also a semantic in HTML. HTML have a main, header, footer, so many semantics are there. Okay, one more you need. What is it? Register. So function, so Netflix register. Okay, and this register must return. Actually, the register must return a container, and this container is usually having a form. Later we will plan the design. Okay, first we will create all the components. So you need 4 components and you designed all the 4 components. So application have 4 components. So index, header, main and register. Application must start with which component? That means it should start with index. In the background, it is index. On index, we have header and everything. So it should start with which one? Index. So how you can render this index? You have to render that index. You have to render the index into the actual DOM. How to render index? Then we have to use React DOM dot what? Render. Render what? Render component name. Component is what? Netflix index. Netflix index. Where to render? Comma. You have to render into the main DOM. Main DOM, what is it? Document dot get element by ID. What is it? Root. That's how we do. That means our page will start with index. Okay, let's see the hierarchy here. We will see the hierarchy. In index at the top, we are having which component? Header component. So let's go to the index. In the index, this header is used. That means inside the index component, we have to keep here Netflix header. We have to put a Netflix header. Inside index, a Netflix header. Under Netflix header, which component? Under Netflix header, which component is there? Main. Main. So under Netflix header, we have a Netflix main. That means index have 2 components, top header and bottom main. Okay. Now see the design. In main, there is a register component. So let's go to the main. In this main, register will be there. That means in the main, here we are using which component? Netflix register. And remember, this main is already added into the index. So, and main have another component inside. You can have a component inside component. A lengthy hierarchy we can have. Okay, the design is ready. Means layout is ready. We haven't kept anything inside. Everything is blank, empty, right? First, we prepared the layout, and according to the layout, we arranged the hierarchy also. Okay. So now when you run this, nothing will be there. Just only bootstrap and bootstrap icons are present in this page, and it is empty. Nothing is there. Now, the first screen that you are watching is index. So let's plan the index now. What we will do is, this Netflix index is having a container. This is having a div. This div requires a background photo. We need a background image for this div. So what we will do now here is, we will add the style. Remember, as of now, I will add everything in one page. Later, we will separate. JavaScript files separate, CSS files separate, everything separate. Initially, in this page, you can put a style container. In the style container, what we are doing here is, we are applying some BG style. In the BG style, this is a class actually. And BG style class will have a background image. Background image URL. It is coming from images. In images, Netflix banner.jpg. Now this class must be used by our index page. This index div should use that class. What is the class name? We cannot use class. We have to use what? Class name. Class name is what? BG style. And you can see that the Netflix main have to come, but height width not yet defined. So what we will do is, for this, we will give a height as 100 VH. VH is viewport height, screen height. So that means it will set the screen height. So we have a background image, but this background image is not completely fit on the screen. So we will use some CSS background styles. I will just put background size as cover. Background size cover, it is going to fit that perfectly. But this background is not dominating. It is not dominating. So for that, we need some more effects of CSS to implement actually. So this is not dominating. So what we will do is, we will add another class called BG shade. In this BG shade, I will apply so background color as RGBA. You learn CSS colors. CSS colors, in how many ways you can give colors in HTML and CSS. In HTML, colors can be in 3 ways. Color name, color shade name, and hexa code, hexadecimal code. In CSS, color name, color shade name, hexadecimal code, RGB, RGBA, HSL, HSLA, and linear gradients, radial gradients. There are so many types of color patterns of CSS. We can use any of these. RGBA, red, green, blue, alpha, which will set a transparency to color. I will use 0, 0, 0 and 0.5 transparency for black. That is black. RGB color value red, green, blue from 0 to 255, right? And now this BG shade also height as 100 VH. And this BG shade we will apply here. Already this div is using a background. Inside this, I will put another div. Another div we will keep. Okay. In this div, we have a header and main. This div will have a class name. What is the class name? BG shade. BG shade is the class name. And you can see now it will not dominate. That's perfectly set. We can increase the transparency. So what you can do is, you can just go and set 0.8. That means more darker it will be, right? 0.6. So that looks fine. That means there is background, but it is not dominant. It is not dominating. Just you can set up this 0.5. It looks fine. Okay, now what we need to do is here we need to set up the options, right? We need to set up. What you are doing? Yeah, you can't see this, huh? Come here, sit there. You have problem in visibility, yeah? Right? Then little bit adjust for anywhere place. Then come here. You have all issues, huh? Right. Okay, then that is correct. Okay for you. Is it clear? Uh, right. So here we will set up other contents here now. Okay. Actually, inside this complete layout is ready. We already kept everything. Now we need to design header. Header is there, but you can't see anything in the header. Let's plan the header now. We will go to the Netflix header part. We will go to the Netflix header. Okay. In Netflix header, they have two divisions. This is div 1. This is one division. Okay. And they have another division. Two divisions are there in the Netflix header. And actually, what are those divisions is in one division, left side, they have a Netflix brand name, right side icons are present. So this is two divisions we are having in the header. And in the left division, we are having, so a simple span, we will put a span and the span will have Netflix. The span is having Netflix. And right side, we are having two options. Actually, I will use a simple drop down. It is having a div again. And in this div, we have a span. This span is using a class. Bootstrap icons, we have BI translate, BI translate. So this is BI translate. That is the icon of Bootstrap. After that, we have a drop down. So drop down, you know, it is a select. Select element is there. Yeah. In the select, we have, you know, select will have option. Option. And option have a language. Option is the language. And here we have an option. Another one is like English. You can add other options also. So suppose I want to add another language option, then I will use Google Translate. And in Google Translate, translate from English, yeah, to Hindi. Yeah, Hindi. And enter text as Hindi. And copy this translated. And you can keep that here in an option. So option, we can paste that. So this is the language options we are having in the drop down, right? Now, what we can do is first, this is the part we designed in header. And let's look at the design now. Header is there. And you see the design here. In the design that we created, it is like this. In the index, there is Netflix, but it is not proper. We need to set the styles. So what you can do is wherever header is present, this is the header we designed. I will apply some style here. What we will do is header. Header, I will set a padding as 20 pixel. And header will have display as flex. and justify content, space between, and usually it will come like this. One is left, another one is right. And still colors requires, after the select, we have a button also. After the select, we have a button, and the button is sign in. Sign in is the button. Sign in is the button. And actually, there is a button also there. We have a drop down button, everything is there. But styles we need to keep. I will keep this Netflix as class name as Bootstrap have text danger class. That means text danger will keep red color. And Bootstrap has font size 1. Font size 1 will keep a large one. And we have font weight as bold. FW bold is font weight. It will be thicker. So actually they have their logo. I am not keeping logo, just I will keep a simple title over here. Generally, if you can put, if you want more, then what you can do is you will put a class name as brand title. Okay. And in the style, we will add that additional option. What is it? Brand title. Brand title, we have font size as 24 pixel, color as what? Red, and another font weight as bold. And you can see it will be in this way. So font size as some 30, little larger we can set. We can add the size for the text. Because it is text, you can even use box shadow. So text shadow. We will put a text shadow 2 pixel, 2 pixel and white so that I can clearly see that in the background. I'm just adding a shadow to keep in the background. So 1 pixel of shadow is looks okay. That's fine. This is the background we are applying for that content. Okay. Now let's go to the right side. What we have, actually right side, this is the right panel. This we will have this entire, we will have a class name as input group. We have a input group, and you can see that is an input group, and this we will keep as input group text. These are all Bootstrap related classes. Then it will be like this. And drop downs will have a class name called what? Form select. Form select is the class name, and it will be in this way. Button have a class. So button have a class name called BTN and BTN danger. These are the Bootstrap button classes. We want little gap between them. Margin S is 1. That means margin left is 1, or margin S is 2. Starting margin is 2. So that is the header ready. That means we have the header ready. We just kept the header in the page. Okay, next, after the header, that means we have a background and we have an header. Design your wish, you can create anything. Now let's go into that here. Remember, I told you, you cannot get the exact feel until or unless you use exactly what library they are using. We can get the layout appearance, but the feel of same fonts, because what fonts they use, they buy them. And they buy the styles, buy the colors and use them. They are using which one? Not Bootstrap. They are using MUI. In MUI, button colors are different, button borders are different. So if we use MUI later, we will get the exact feel also, same as Netflix, right? Initially, this is what we defined. Okay. Next, this is the content inside the main area. This is in the main area. Okay, let's go to the main part now. Header is ready. Now let's go to the Netflix main. Where is this? Yeah, in Netflix main, above the register, we are having titles. That means in the Netflix main, I am giving a simple div. Okay. In this div, what we are doing is, in this div, we will keep one div. And let's copy this here. We will copy that sentence here. Actually, these are two sentences. This is one div, another one is another div. Okay. These are two options we are having. And this is the main area. Actually, the main area is also present here. But what we are doing is, so for this main area, let's put the class as text white. That means it will keep the text white, and we will keep as text center. Text center, it will keep in this way. And actually, this is the main. And we want the main little down, so not at the top. And we want some size. This will have a class name. Actually, we can apply the class H1. H1 is a heading 1 class. It will keep it large. And we can keep this one with a class name as H3. That means heading 3 class will be there. So that means we are applying ready-made classes there. We are configuring the ready-made classes and defining H1 and H3 are the classes of Bootstrap. We can apply that. Okay, now what we have to do is in the styles, wherever the main is present, I will make sure that main margin top is some 100 pixel or 200 pixel looks okay. Then you can see main will come down. That means we have the main area also ready. So we have the header part and we have the main. So we want main little bit up. Then I will just keep it as 150 pixel top margin. Then it is fine. Now inside the main already register is there. Inside the main already we have a register. Layout is already done. So we have to design the register now. In the register, what they have given, see font sizes, they have large, you can increase them. Manually, you can apply the font size, font weight, you can increase, decrease, increase, anything you can do. Now let's copy this line. This is the register area. Let's go to the register part. And you see that the header is there below the header. Yeah, main. And in the main already there is a register. In the main, we are having a register. And now we need to design the register. I will put a paragraph, so which have some sentence. And I will make sure that this register is under this div because all are center aligned, text aligned. That means now you can see it is like this. So that is the register related option. So we are having now in that here inside this now we are having a div. Okay. Actually, in this div, we will create a form. So generally, we have a form. And inside the form, we are keeping, inside the form, we are keeping input type as what? Email. And self-ending, it should be self-ending. Every element should be self-ending. And placeholder, you know, placeholder for input. Placeholder, we will say your email address. After that, we will put a button, and this button will have get started and a small icon also, and we will put a span. And through that, we put an icon here, class name as BI chevron right. Chevron right is the icon. That means now you can see that the form is like this. That means below that we have a form. And how you get the appearance for that. So actually we can just keep it as a class name as input group. Input group will keep it like this. It will combine that. Actually, if you keep input group, it will combine. Later you need to change the alignments and all. So I will show you. Here email address will have a class. Email usually have a class called what? Email have a class called form control. Form control is the class, and button have a class called BTN and BTN danger. And you can see that this is the appearance. That is the input group you are having, email and all. Now you need to set up the width and everything for this. Actually, I will use a class name dflex, display flex, justify content center. That means it will keep the content to center. Justify content center. And so I will keep the size little bit. This input group have a size W50. It will set the size to 50. W25, that is the 25%. It's too small. W50, that looks fine. And actually this can be like input group, and input group have LG also. LG will keep a large input group. And you want some gap for the button, then you can use MS1. That means little space will come. Now that is the home screen of Netflix. So this is done by using the complete layout. This is done by using the complete layout of hierarchy of components. That means here we use a lot of bootstrap. And remember, see, many people now ask like, sir, is it necessary to learn bootstrap CSS? You can't, how you will call yourself as a React developer? That's a joke at all if you are asking that, right? What you are talking? That means you are a UI developer and you say you are asking like, is it necessary to learn CSS and bootstrap like things? Actually, we don't recognize anybody as a web developer if we don't know any bootstrap, CSS and styling. You can't call yourself as a web developer. No chance. Even you are Java, .NET, you can't call yourself as web developer. And we are not even satisfied with that, right? How you can build a good UI? You say that you are learning React. React is a highly advanced front-end library for building interactive UIs, and you don't know bootstrap like CSS like things. That cannot happen. That cannot happen. So you must have a very perfect, complete knowledge of styling in UI, user interface. Because when you go to interviews also, in React interviews, what they do is they give you data coming from API. They will give you an API from where data comes. After that, they will give you some screenshots. They will ask you to design that screen with the data they given from API. And they will give you even time 1-2 days. They say that you go home, take 2 days time, you design this and submit to us. That means now imagine they are very confident that even they give you that to do the task at home, they know that you may take help from anybody, right? But still they are confident because remember, any genuinely trying for jobs, they don't take help from anybody. Even if you come to me and ask, sir, my company asked to design this, how to do that, I will not tell you. I will say that you do. Then what you learned, in class, what you practiced in class, I am not going to help anything. You zero. because we already helped in making you understand the concept, how to design everything. Then you have to be on your own. That it means a React developer must be very, very strong in user interface. And these are all basic mandatory things, right? So if you don't have any complete Bootstrap knowledge, we have Bootstrap workshop videos on YouTube of Naresh IT. You check them. Bootstrap workshop videos are there on Naresh IT YouTube channel. You check those videos. In those, how to use Bootstrap, how Bootstrap works, all the basic videos are there. You check them once. Because generally HTML, CSS, if you learn means Bootstrap also you should learn. If not, then you can check those videos, you will understand, right? But React will not teach you all this. React will teach you just how to implement, right? Because React has lot of things to know here. We cannot again waste time in CSS, JavaScript and all this. We have to implement them here, right? So I hope you are clear in this design. In this design, we used a lengthy component hierarchy, but actually here only 4 components are working. So can you tell what are the components? At the parent level, we have a index. Inside the index, we are having a header. And in the index only, we have another one, main. In the main, we are having a register. This is register. And see the speciality here. Suppose somewhere bottom, I want to register again. Any number of times you want duplicate. Then what you have to do is just go and set up. So Netflix register. You use again a Netflix register. Netflix register. That means you will see that another copy will come. That means you can reuse the component anywhere. Anywhere you can reuse it any number of times. And not only in the same way, next time you can change the width. That means in another place you can have a different width, different height, different colors also we can apply. That we will see later. That means how we can use the same component but not in the same way. That means we can change the colors, we can change the titles. Sometimes we want mobile number, get started. Sometimes we want email, get started. Then we can design a component in React in such a way that we can change the components dynamically. Generally, you learned, it's a very simple thing also. Generally, you learned function. Function is having some print. This function print is printing some content. How you can design a function in such a way that it can change its print every time? How you can design a function in such a way so that it can change its print every time? It's very simple. If the function print is provided with a parameter and parameter allows to modify the function. What is the purpose of parameters? Parameters are used to modify the function. One time you pass one parameter, another time you pass another parameter. That means function is same, but it is responding with different prints. How it is modifying itself? Parameters are responsible for modifying a function, modifying the function. You can create components with parameters so that you can modify according to your requirements. Later you will learn about that. But initially you should able to design like this. That means you should able to design all the component hierarchies and configure them. This is the example. I will copy this entire example. I will put it. This example is netflix.html. I will paste that complete example that we designed. You must try this example, right? Now, once you are good with this, actually, Bootstrap is also having lot of interactions. Bootstrap is not just only styling. Bootstrap have a lot of interactions. You can design interaction. Interaction means, for example, you see here, suppose when user clicks on sign in, I want a pop-up. In the pop-up, I want a user ID, password, login screen. I want to show a pop-up with a login screen. And if you are using Bootstrap in any page, dynamically you can generate that. Let's do that. I want a pop-up on sign in. Then generally what we have to do, go to the location where is that sign in. It is in header, right? In header, we have a sign in. So in the header, just below that button, anywhere you can design, but I will keep it simple to understand. Below the button, I am using a div. And generally in Bootstrap to create pop-ups, we call the div as model. The pop-ups are designed by using model. Model have a fade, model have an ID. The ID is like login, right? So this button is sign in, okay? And the ID is login. Usually model contains a more design inside. Model contains actually class name called model dialog. And inside the model dialog, we usually have another container called model content. Model content. Inside the model content, we usually have three sections. So we have a model header. These are all ready-made. And we keep an option like user login and heading 3. I'll just use some class name BI person fill. Person fill. Okay. And we have a model body, another div. And we have a class as model body. In the model body, we are having a data list. So in the data list, we have a data term. This is user ID. And we have a text box. Input type is equal to text. Okay. And data definition. This text box will have a class form control. Okay. Another data term, data definition, I will copy similarly. Another one is password. Password and input type as what? Password. Okay. And password. Fine. And we have one more section here. Div. And class name as model footer. In the model footer, we have a button. So class name BTN and BTN, suppose warning. And we have login button. Okay. Actually, this model that I designed below that login, it is not visible anywhere. When I click the sign in button, it should open. Then what Bootstrap provides is Bootstrap provides attribute data BS target. It refers to which element it should open. Means target is hash what? Login. And data BS toggle. Toggle, it should toggle what? Model. That means on the button click, it will open that model. And I click the button, it should open the model and show. So that is a login. That means Bootstrap allows the interactions. And I click on login. You can put a login or a cancel. Currently, we haven't given any close. Generally, models will close on backdrop. You click outside, they will close. But what I will do is in the header, we will put a button. And this button will have a class name as BTN and BTN close. This is a close button. And Bootstrap can close by using data BS dismiss. Dismiss is equal to what? Model. It will dismiss the model. And same, I will put another button here. I can add another button by name cancel. And this cancel button will be like danger. And it also should close. Data BS what? Dismiss. Dismiss is equal to model. Now you can see when I click on this sign in, it will open a login. And when I close the button and or click cancel, it is going to cancel. So if you want this dialog to be centered, then we can just put here model dialog centered. Then it will keep the model dialog in the center screen. On center screen, it can keep. So now you can have a login and a cancel, and this cancel will work. That means now we are using Bootstrap in this page and we are implementing the Bootstrap. So this is, I just added one additional functionality to this. So a React application have a lot of interactions. This example I will give, same example, but this time this is with dialog. So models, Bootstrap model. This is Bootstrap model. That is the Bootstrap model. So this is one simple point to understand how we can create a React application with components, how we can use various components and how we can implement the components here. Now, once you are aware of this, now we can start building a separate React application. This is not a separate React application. This is what? A general web application. In that only one page is using React. In that everything components we created. But in real world projects, we use in another way also. We will completely build a separate React application. And in that application, all libraries are set up. Everything is set up. For that, actually, we can create a separate React application. And for that, we need another option. So creating a new React application. This is the important part. A new React application. To create a new React application, generally we have lot of ready-made tools. Project development is very lengthy. That means generally you see in real, when you learn Java, .NET, all these, to practice what usually you do is, you will create a project. And in that project, you will set up all the files and you will start coding, running everything. But in real world projects, you are not the person who is responsible for creating project. You will be just working in a project. You will not create a project. You will not configure anything about the project. You need to just set up. That means you will not create a project. You will not configure the project. You have to just work in it. That means creating project is not your job. A senior expert architect team will be there. That team will design the complete project infrastructure according to the client requirements, and they will set up environment and give it to you. And to do that, we have specialized tools. We call those tools as, so that means you can create a React application using various bundling tools. Like we have Webpack is a bundling tool, Parcel is a bundling tool, White is a bundling tool. There are so many. So actually, bundling tools allow to configure a project with development quality and testing environment. Quality and testing environment. Quality and deployment, a production environment. Bundling tools allow to configure a project with development, quality, and production environment. You know that every project have three environments: development, quality, and production. In development environment, we build the project. In quality environment, we test the project. In production environment, we deploy it. That means every project development involves three environments and three phases: the development, quality, and production. And to create a complete project with these environments, we have ready-made software tools. So generally we use these software tools. And what is the advantage is Node.js have inbuilt support for Webpack bundler. It have inbuilt support for Webpack bundler. So if you install Node.js on your PC, which you already done, that means your computer is ready with a bundler called Webpack. You can directly start using it. But later I will show you individually how to design a project. But individually designing project is not your job and not required. So that is the senior expert team will do that. But anyhow, we will learn that at the end, how we create a complete project with scratch. So technically, we have so many bundling tools. You can see the bundling tool. We have Webpack. Webpack is a bundler. This is Webpack. It is a bundling tool. I already told you just now before this concept that we can have JavaScript files, CSS files, and without linking them, we can use with a web page. That is all done by using tools like configuration like Webpack. We have Webpack, we have a parcel. Parcel is another bundling tool. This is parcel, another bundling tool. It is used to configure a project for web. And we have tools like White. White is also a tool. These all tools are used by developers to build a complete environment for a project. To build an environment for project, these kind of tools are required. And these tools helps to design a project. Project environment is set by using these tools. You will use these tools. You will learn how to deal with them. But we are going to use one bundling tool, and that is what? Webpack. Now we will see how to create a application by using this Webpack and how that application is different from what you learned now. Means how the environment is completely different. That we will see in next session. Right? Tomorrow we will do that. In tomorrow's session, we will learn how to create a separate React application and how the React application works, the complete flow, how it is going to work. I'm going to start the session every day exactly by 7:30. You are there or not there, I don't care. Right? I start exactly by 7:30. So it's on you. You attend late, you will miss the concepts. We will not give any videos anymore after the completion of few sessions. You have to just follow the notes and do it. We are not going to provide any videos, no videos. Only up to the few demo sessions we provide videos. After that, no more videos. So you have to attend exactly by 7:30. You should be here, right? Tomorrow we will continue, right? Yeah.